Good afternoon, Willimantic USA. Welcome to State of the Art with Chris Beaudry here on 14 WILI 95.3 FM. We're back for another week, and I am amped up to the high hills because, boy, oh boy, what a week it's going to be. It's the final third Thursday of the season. Matt, are you excited?
I couldn't be more excited, Chris.
Yes, you could.
I could, but...
There's things in life. Come on.
No,
I kid. It is a very exciting week, and there's a lot of other exciting things going on. The PR and marketing is in full force for Chaos and Joy. I think I saw your name on the artist roster for that.
I will be there,
coming
yes.
up. There's quite a few fantastic artists coming up for that. We're going to talk about Chaos and Joy. We're going to talk about Celebrate Mansfield. We're going to talk about Third Thursday Street Festival. We're going to talk about Alice K. Dade and Sophie Shao, a wonderful classical duo that's kind of peppered with a little bit of comedy. This is something that I haven't seen yet, but there's a first time for everything. But the River Room is going to play host to a very unique show happening this Friday, September the 19th. Again, the River Room is at 50 Riverside Drive, riverroomwilly.com. We are firing on all cylinders. We had a wonderful event last night. The Latino Chamber of Commerce came and did their first annual awards ceremony honoring some fantastic local Latino-owned businesses here in town, including Willie Scoops, El Guanajuato. There were some individuals recognized for their leadership. It was a really fun event. So shout out to the Windham Latino Chamber of Commerce and the Windham Chamber of Commerce. Also shout out to the WDNA, Willimantic Downtown Neighborhood Association. I had the pleasure of running their monthly meeting yesterday at the Funk Zone LLC, owned by Mayor Tom DeVivo here on Church Street. Tom refurbished two wonderful-looking properties. They're beautiful inside and outside. He kept a lot of the historical structure, reinforced it with some modern architecture, modern reinforcement, and I believe they're going to go on the market, two retail spaces there on Church Street. And speaking of Church Street, I wanted to give a shout out to our brand new sponsor for State of the Art, and that is Yono in Willimantic. Yono is, originally stood for Yoga on North Street, but they are now housed on Church Street, owned by the amazing Angie Jacques. Yono Yoga and Quiet Corner Float. I'd be remiss to mention the Quiet Corner Float aspect. It is one of the most relaxing, rejuvenating, recharging experiences you could possibly imagine. I believe there's something like half a ton of salt dissolved in these float pods. Have you tried them yet, Matt?
I haven't, but I want to. That sounds like I need it.
So the whole premise, I'm going to describe it like, the layman. I'm sure Angie will have her on the show in the near future, and she can go more in depth as to the benefits and the workings of these float tanks. But from what I gather, there's upwards of half a ton of salt dissolved, and they have like 3 modes of cleaning, from infrared to obviously the salt to reverse osmosis. I mean, you name it. These things are state of the art, very appropriate for our show today. But I did a float in there, and the temperature is, like the perfect temperature so that the body doesn't feel the water if you can remain completely still, which is tough for the first float, and maybe even the second or third for some folks. But once you get in a relaxed, calm state of mind, it's almost like you're just suspended, like you're suspended in space. You don't really feel anything. All the pressure is alleviated from your body. All the pressure that you carry with you, throughout the day just kind of dissipates, and your mind you can let it wander. You can choose to either have a light on in the float tank, light off. You can choose to have light music on or off. So really, you can customize your own experience in these things, and they're very reasonably priced. And I'm so excited that Angie stepped up to sponsor this show, and we thank her for that. So shout out to Yono Yoga and Quiet Corner Float here on Church Street, 59 Church Street in Willimantic, Connecticut. So right down to business. Stick around for the entire show because we are doing our famous giveaway here. We're going to give away a pair of tickets to this Friday's show at the River Room, featuring the aforementioned classical duo of Alice Dade and Sophie Shao. I'm going to play some music by these fantastic artists. I learned about Sophie. She's a professor at the University of Connecticut, and once I started to Google her, I realized I had been listening to her without even realizing it. She's on a lot of the famous jazz musician albums that I have listened to over the years.
Really?
in the string section. So a lot of times, like a piano trio, they'll record an album. I'm going to use the point in case of Brad Meldau, who's actually a West Hartford native, but now he's an internationally renowned jazz pianist. I would say probably one of the top 5 most popular in the world. But so he would do trio albums, but then on occasion he would have either a full orchestra or a smaller string section join him on his recordings. And it turns out that Sophie is the cellist on many of these recordings.
Wow.
And, once I learned that, I realized how heavy this duo would be, and I jumped at the opportunity to present them at the River Room. So we're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to Sophie Shao and Alice Dade this Friday, September 19th at the River Room. Again, you can see our upcoming performances at riverroomwillie.com. We've been announcing things left and right. We are now pretty much through the month of October. In October, we have October 4th, Royal Oaks, which is a local indie rock band. They're going to be doing an unplugged performance. They're a little on the heavier side, more like geared towards street fests or larger concert halls. Think, Infinity Music Hall, think Arch Street Tavern, that kind of scene. But for the River Room, they're going to be doing the unplugged set, which I think will be pretty unique because they don't do that very often. So their fans will get a unique treat. And I think it's just going to be a really fun event because during the day on October 4th, that's a Saturday, you're hearing it here first publicly, but we are going to be closing down Riverside Drive and doing our very first attempt at the Blocktoberfest Riverside Drive block party. So from 2 to 6 p.m., we're going to close down Riverside Drive. And we're going to have basically an extension of the Willimantic Third Thursday Street Fest in a mini form. And going into October, the final official Street Fest, Willimantic Third Thursday Street Fest of the season, is this Thursday, September 18th from 6 to 9 p.m. Highly advise everybody show out in droves for that one because it's going to be a wildly fun evening. We have the most entertainment of any Street Fest planned. We have the most vendors enrolled in appearing, and there's already some energy because the Coleman Brothers Carnival is already set up on Gilson Park. So there's going to be a lot of activity in town this weekend. So I hope folks can join us for that. And then, of course, next weekend, September 28th, Chaos and Joy. September 27th, on Saturday, is the Celebrate Mansfield Festival. And just the punches keep coming. We have so many amazing events coming to town. Fall, I love the harvest festivals. Have you been to any harvest fairs or Hebron Fair, Woodstock Fair, anything
Not
like
this
that?
year.
Not this year?
Not this year.
No? You didn't go to see Uncle Cracker at the Woodstock Fair?
I wish I did. That would kind of be cool.
Talk about a childhood throwback,
Yeah,
man.
right.
Uncle Cracker, right? So really cool. The Woodstock Fair obviously is a massive, massive endeavor. And I think the Big E is going on now, so it's definitely fair and festival season. And the crispness in the air is starting to emerge in the evenings especially. And I'm seeing the leaves change. So all the signs of fall, autumn, Halloween are coming through, right? Trick or Treat on Main is going to be happening here in Willimantic again. Halloween evening, 5 to 7 p.m. We shut down Main Street a la Third Thursday Street Fest, except this time it's just focused on kids trick-or-treating at Main Street businesses. So if you're a Main Street business and you're listening currently and you would like to participate in Trick or Treat on Main, reach out to either the Wyndham Rec Department, Deb Fisk there, or Willimantic Third Thursday Street Festival, Erin Morell, who we were going to try to get on the phone today for an interview. However, she has some car issues, and we all know how that goes. So she's tied up at a garage right now, and it's a little noisy there. But let's get right into, I want to do our giveaway on the front end here of the show. So as mentioned, the show this Friday, September 19th at the River Room, Sophie Shao and Alice Dade, and the title of their show is kind of it's telling as to what they're bringing and their approach to classical music in general. Classical music a lot of times, especially to a younger audience, has kind of like the stuffy mentality. Like, you have to get all dressed up to the nines. You have to go and you have to know when to applaud, and you have to have certain etiquette. And it's all good and everything. And the classical music experience is wonderful. And if you get into that and you love classical music, I'm all for it. I'm all for every genre, as you can tell by what we present at the River Room. But Sophie and Alice are looking to appeal their show to a little bit of a younger demographic. And the way that they're going about this is a little bit of an informal presentation. However, the musicality is guaranteed to be still at the world-class caliber with these two women. And they also pepper in a little bit of humor. Alice is a stand-up comedian by night. I guess her day job would be classical musician, but by night she moonlights in stand-up comedy. And I think that's great because more comedy in town here is a great thing. We had Luciano Rodriguez Jr. on our show the other day, last week, in anticipation of his appearance at the open mic at the River Room. And Matt, he killed it, by the way. He really, really crushed it. And he writes well, and his delivery is on point, and it shows. It shows in his schedule. He's being scheduled all over the place, and we'll talk actually about the event that's coming to T-Swap, the Inkwell, on September 20th. So we have a lot to talk about. But back to Sophie and Alice. A little bit about the artist. Sophie Shao, associate professor of cello at the University of Connecticut. She has her master's degree from the Yale School of Music, also her bachelor's from Yale. Yale has a fantastic music program in general. Shout out to Tom Duffy over there. But cellist Sophie Shao, winner of the prestigious Avery Fisher Career Grant and top prizes at the Rostropovich and Tchaikovsky competitions, is a versatile and passionate artist who performs whose performances the New York Times has described as eloquent, powerful, and the LA Times noted as impressive, and Washington Post called deeply satisfying. So just the fact that she gets all this kind of press and coverage is a testament to her musical prowess. Shao has appeared as a soloist to critical acclaim throughout the United States and has commissioned Howard Shore's cello concerto, Mythic Gardens, performing the premiere with Leon Botstein and the American Symphony Orchestra, the UK premiere with Keith Lockhart and the BBC Concert Orchestra, and European premiere with Ludwig Wicki. I mean, it just goes on and on. All of these accolades and performances. She's performed in Tokyo, Philadelphia, Middlebury College Phillips Collection, the University of Notre Dame, Lincoln Center. God, I mean, this is huge. You have to go on her biography page on the University of Connecticut. It's music.uconn.edu/person/Sophie-Shao. However, we also have information about the artists on River Room Willie on the event page. So Sophie Shao will be joined by her musical partner, Alice K. Dade, associate professor of flute, also a master's degree holder from the Juilliard School. I mean, talk about prestigious, in the tradition education. But she is a professor at the University of Missouri. And a little bit about Alice is Alice enjoys a career of great variety, including concerto and chamber music appearances, recording projects, television appearances, and guest principal performances in orchestras in Asia and Scandinavia. So these women are world-traveled, world-performed. As a soloist, Miss Dade is an award winner of the Olga, and I'm going to butcher this last name, Kusevitsky Wind Competition and the Musicians Club of New York and the New York Flute Club Competition. She has performed with Guanajuato Symphony Orchestra in Mexico, the Orquestra Sinfónica Juvenil Red de Escuelas de Música de Medellín in Colombia, the Prism Festival Orchestra and the Festival Mosaic Orchestra. Again, a biography that just keeps going and going and going. So these women are going to bring their lesser performed show to the River Room on September 19th. So the number to call to win tickets, 860-456-1400. And if you call now, we're going to hook you up with a pair of tickets to see these accomplished classical musicians with a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a comedic humorist twist on September 19th. So the phone lines are open. We're going to keep announcing it throughout the show.
Are they going to pick those up at the River Room, the tickets, just so I know?
No, we'll get an email address and a first name and a last name, and then we will send them via the email.
All right, I'll get their phone number and everything.
Great. So, again, the phone lines are open. If you'd like to win a pair of tickets to this Friday's show at the River Room featuring Sophie Shao and Alice Dade, the number to call is 860-456-1400. And you need to be a new winner to us. If you've won a pair of tickets in the past, unfortunately, you are uneligible. But we hope that, if you are a previous winner, that you enjoyed your experience and you spread the word about the River Room. We've got some great shows coming up, local, regional, national. That's our mission. Diverse offering of music. We have blues, we have rock, we have a winner. So congratulations to our caller here. Matt is going to get your information, and congratulations on winning that pair of tickets. So, what else do we have coming up at the River Room in October? We have October 11th, Christine Ullman, the Beehive Queen from Saturday Night Live, the Saturday Night Live band, who has, again, an extensive, accomplished career throughout her time here with us. Her career has gone more than 50 years, but she brings her band Rebel Montez, featuring the illustrious guitarist Cliff Goodwin. And that is October 11th at the River Room. And then the week after, we have a founding member of Roomful of Blues, the famous jump band out of Rhode Island that was founded by Duke Robillard and many others. But Al Copley, the pianist for the original rotation of Roomful of Blues, will be with us on October 18th with his quintet, his all-star quintet. And I'm excited about this one because one of the members of the quintet, Dan Moretti, is a former professor of mine from the Berklee College of Music, saxophone professor. He's a professor emeritus at this moment. But the quintet, again, is an all-star quintet with Mr. Copley on the piano and vocals leading the evening. So that's October 18th. And then we're going to announce some new shows coming up, but congratulations to Mr. Raymond for winning that pair of tickets for this Friday's performance at the River Room. We will be in touch with you after the show, after the taping today. Very happy that you're listening, and thank you to everybody else who's listening out there today. But Raymond will give you a call with those tickets coming up. All right. So riverroomwillie.com if you unfortunately missed the call in today. But, every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m., we're doing something. We're surprising you with something, either a giveaway or information on, the great events going on in and around Windham and Storrs area here. And speaking of, we have a couple events to go through. I'm going to do the events earlier in the show today because we have a second half guest coming in. I hope you can stick around for it. A couple of members of the cast and crew from Dial M for Murder, which is one of the upcoming performances at the Windham Theater Guild, will be in studio with us to talk about their forthcoming performance. So excited to hear what's going on at the Windham Theater Guild. But let's run it down. So the big one, Third Thursday Street Fest. We do 5 a year from May to September every year, and it is called the Third Thursday Street Fest, so it happens on the third Thursday of the month. And this third Thursday happens to fall this week, September 18th. It is free and open to the public, free to attend, free to park. Parking is going to be a little bit tricky this time around because usually we have the Gilson Park as our parking lot by the Shabu stage. However, as mentioned, the Coleman Brothers Carnival is in town. You can tell because you can't miss it when you drive by it at night. It will blind you with all of the lights they got going on there. I remember when I was a kid attending that. I had a lot of fun. Did you go to those when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Don't eat too much before you go on the tilt-a-whirl. That's my advice.
You learn.
So parking is going to be, it'll be available, and we do open the Walnut Street parking garage in Windham, and we make Walnut Street a two-way so that you can access it from Valley. So fear not, the garage will be open. On-street parking around the Main Street area, side streets will be available as well.
They opened up Riverside Drive back here now too, so
they did.
I don't know how close they're gonna
trying to keep that on the DL because
bad.
we're gonna use that for bands and stuff, and there will be a police blockade at the end of the street anyway. So I don't think that'll be available, but you never know. So. So on-street parking on all the side streets around Main Street, but, try to, park and walk if possible, of course. And, the Street Fest, 5 blocks of Main Street closed down, so, it's very walkable. We discourage, there's no bikes allowed, but, assistive transportation, wheelchairs and the likes of that, definitely, obviously allowed. But, so let's run down the schedule. I'm going to start with the music. We have, again, 6 stages, but this one is really interesting because I really went heavy on the booking for the roaming or the roving acts. So those are like your drum lines or your fife and drum corps or your dance troops or your flash mobs as they call them. But we have a lot of roaming acts as well. So I'll do the physical stages first. So starting at the Way Uptown stage. The Way Uptown stage is located by Willie Brew, which is also by the Town Hall. We close right at High Street there. We have two bands, or actually a duo and a solo act this time around. The Fabulous Clones, which would be Duke York and Slim Tempo. So they're going to be opening up the night at 6 o'clock. They perform Americana, blues, original and cover stuff. They're going to be performing from 6 to 7:15, and they're going to be followed by the wildly talented singer-songwriter from Pomfret, Connecticut, Seamus McMullen. In fact, I'm so impressed with Seamus's work that I offered him a date at the River Room with his cohort of folk musicians, including Connecticut State troubadour Kayla Farnham. It's yet to be announced and yet to be publicized or listed for sale, but I want to let you all know November 1st. We're calling the show the Pomfret Folk Brigade. Because they're coming out with two very special guests that will also be named when we start to promote that show. But keep an eye out for that November 1st. But come and catch Seamus in the meantime, closing out the evening on the Way Uptown stage by Willie Brew. He'll be performing from 7:45 until 9 p.m. in front of Willie Brew. We move down the street to what we call the Uptown stage, and that is located by Eminence Inc., which is the amazing tattoo studio here in Willimantic, Connecticut. They also have a satellite store on the UConn campus in Stores. So, doing very well. We love the owners, Mills and Fame, and they're just so supportive of the Street Fest that they are, again, doing their wildly popular karaoke in front of Eminence Inc. So they're going to start that a little bit into the fest, about 6:45, 7 p.m., because before that, the ACT, the Arts at the Capitol Theater, an EastCon Education Services program, which is the Magnet Arts High School here on Main Street in Willimantic. The ACT student performers are going to be opening up the fest and doing a dance number. Usually they get about 30, 40 students, and the students, choreograph everything. And, there's music, there's song and dance. They're so talented. They're always a blast to watch. Makes a great social video. So the ACT student performers opening up at the Uptown stage by Eminence Inc., and then Eminence Inc. Karaoke, which is open to everybody at the fest. So there will be a couple people running the karaoke with a sign-up sheet. So if you want to strut your stuff, Matt, maybe you want to pay a visit and sing a song or two.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, all right. But that is the Uptown stage by Eminence Inc. We continue to move down. We have Bank Street. We are going to be showcasing the Connecticut Field and Valley Fife and Drum Corps. I'm really excited about this group because they are a historical reenactment, but musically talented as well. So they dress in period garb, and they have been performing at all kinds of events throughout the summer. And this is kind of like one of their final of the season shows. So if you haven't caught them, they have a robust schedule on their website, which is ctvalleyfieldmusic.com. But basically, I'm going to read a little bit about the Connecticut Valley Field Music Fife and Drum Corps. They're a fife and drum band of approximately 15 playing members. They play rope tension snare and bass drums and wooden fifes. So you think about, the marching music from the Civil War era. The group's uniform is based on the musician's uniform of the U.S. Army circa 1862. So I'm glad that what I said was true because I kind of guessed about the Civil War era, but 1862, perfect. For over 30 years, the members of the Connecticut Valley Field Music have been developing possibilities in the genre of traditional music for fifes and drums. And in 1988, with the urging of a friend, David Pear, John Kalinowski attended a pre-CT Valley Field Music social group gathering at the home of Jim Clark. The group consisted of 2 fifers and 4 snare drum members. In the following year, they marched their first parade at the Westbrook Muster. That was the official start of the Connecticut Valley Field Music Fife and Drum Corps. So they're going to be on Bank Street. So check them out. We also have another drum corps coming, well, more of a drum line. The University of Connecticut drum line will be here, and they are about 30 members strong. So they are going to be actually coming to us with their tractor trailer truck full of their drums. But UConn always, they play at the football games. They play at all kinds of university events at the University of Connecticut Stores campus. But we're very excited for them. They're going to be marching up and down Main Street, so you're not going to miss them when they march by. But 30-member UConn Drum Corps will be joining us. And then we make our way to the Midtown Beer Garden stage, and it is Hispanic Heritage Month from, I believe it's mid-September to mid-October, but our Third Thursday Street Fest for the month of September falls within that time frame. So we are featuring one of the most fantastic Latino Hispanic bands in town, and that is, of course, Arnaldo Rivera's Bente Two Band, which is, I believe, a 9 or 10-piece band with, your full percussion, full horn section. Arnaldo sings and plays piano. Wildly talented group. I had the pleasure of seeing them perform at the Mansfield Drive-In annual Labor Day party, which is actually a private event, but Bente 2 was there. I got some video I'm going to be sharing on the Third Thursday social medias. But check them out, opening up the Beer Garden, which is, for lack of a better term, our kind of main stage. And that happens in the Wyndham Theater Guild courtyard at Berkshire Bank there. And we set up, of course, the Lions Club runs our beer, wine, and non-alcoholic and seltzer. We have all kinds of options, something for everybody. You don't need to be 21 to be there, but you do to drink with a wristband. But come and enjoy the music, opened up by Bente 2 with Arnaldo Rivera. During the set break between bands, we're going to feature the Shimmy Mob, who joined us at the beginning of the season, but they're back kind of bookending our season. The Shimmy Mob is a group, a local subset of a national organization, Shimmy Mob, but they're doing their belly dance routine to raise awareness for domestic abuse. I believe it's United Way, but don't quote me on that. But they are raising money and awareness for domestic abuse awareness. So the Shimmy Mob will be doing the set break between bands. Mighty Soul Drivers are going to be closing out the evening at the Beer Garden stage, Midtown, at the Berkshire Bank / Wyndham Theater Guild courtyard. So a lot of danceable acts going on there at the Beer Garden. So make sure you pay us a visit, and while you're there, grab your romantic Willimantic t-shirt or your Willimantic Third Thursday beer mug for sale. It's going to be the last opportunity to grab those at a street fest, and the holidays are coming up, so you might want to start shopping early and beat the lines and grab some good merch from the Third Thursday Street Fest. Of course, all of the proceeds from those sales go right into the Street Fest. It's not a tax-funded. A lot of people have a misconception that the Street Fest is funded by tax dollars. It is not. It is actually funded by private donors and sponsors. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of sponsors. The CT Connecticut Community Colleges are actually sponsoring the Hispanic Heritage Month performance by Arnaldo Rivera's Bente 2. So shout out to CT Connecticut Community Colleges. Quinnebog Valley used to be known as, but the branch here in Willimantic has been very helpful with Mr. Elkin at the helm helping us out. And also the ECSU, Eastern Connecticut State University, generously sponsored this year's Street Fest, so we thank them as well. Those are really our major sponsors. And, of course, the Rose and Leo Pajot Trust also contributes, and we are very thankful to them as well. And we hope that all of these organizations continue their support into the future, as well as all of the smaller independent donors. We wouldn't be anywhere without you, the small independent donor, which actually account for about half of all the funds that it takes to run a season of Street Fest. And the total amount that it costs to run 5 Street Fests throughout the season is $60,000, and that is taking into account that the majority of volunteers are doing this out of the goodness of their hearts and not receiving a dime for their volunteerism. So shout out to all the volunteers, and especially volunteers such as the Lions Group, and then all of the volunteers from different businesses, small businesses that step up to the plate and run things like our beer garden or our stages or block captains. We have people that actually volunteer to station themselves at all of the different blocks throughout the Street Fest and act as a liaison for the different food trucks and vendors and Main Street merchants. So I could go on until I'm blue in the face about what it takes to produce a Street Fest. There are so many people involved, and we want to thank everybody that makes it a possibility to continue this work for our community and this wonderful event. Moving on to the downtown stage, which is the flatbed trailer that actually parks right in front of the WILI radio building from which we're broadcasting currently. We have the evening being opened up by the ever-energetic Kasia Dent and friends. Kasia is one of my favorite people in general. I'm just going to say it, but her energy and her exuberance and excitement for music and arts and culture and just the creative scene in Connecticut at large is palpable. And we wanted to offer her first. This is like her first debut performance in the world. So she's going to be leading Kasia Dent and Friends at 6 p.m. at the downtown stage. That's right in front of the WILI building. And then closing out the evening on that stage is a punk rock band from the New London area, full of energy. They've played at Strange Brew Pub. They've played all kinds of festivals, including the New London Sail Fest. But they're joining us to close out the evening. It's going to be a riotous occasion. The Hempsteadies are joining us. They're an 8 or 10 piece punk band from the Shoreline. So we're really excited for that. And then, of course, on North Street, we have I-98.3 and WILI FM's very own Keith C. Rice hosting the I-98.3 TMB Motors stage with DJ Chuck Edelmiro Rios, town council member by day but also by night, famous DJ in the area. He has multiple radio shows on I-98, on ECS, and God, I'm sure there's like 2 other stations that I'm forgetting, right?
Yeah.
He's all over the place, but he's going to be the music, and Keith is going to be the personality, and of course they have their famous prize wheel, the I-98.3 prize wheel. You can have your chance to spin and win passes to the Mansfield Drive-In movie theater in Mansfield, and it's always a good time with them. And then there's going to be interstitial acts on Keith and DJ Chuck's stage. The Mansfield Academy of Dance will be back. Mansfield Academy of Dance just opened a new studio here on Main Street in Willimantic at the Liberty Bank Blondie's Diner Plaza. So we're so excited that they're actually an official part of Willimantic now, and it's even more special. But they've been performing with their wonderfully talented dancers. It's the Mansfield Academy of Dance is going to do a pop-up at the North Street I-98.3 TMB Motor Stage. And God, I hope I'm not forgetting anything. I am forgetting something. Oswaldo Tirano is going to be bringing his Caramel Camel puppet show, I guess you would call it. If you've been to Street Fests past, Oswaldo is usually the guy who's 8 or 9 feet tall because he's the stilt walker, and he brings his little basketball hoop and holds it like more than 10 feet in the air. So, but he has something a little bit different in store for us this September. He's bringing his life-size, I would call it life-size. It's like a life-size camel puppet that he somehow gets himself into, I'm sure with the assistance of 2 or 3 other folks, but he'll be walking around with, and I think he's collaborating with the belly dancers. So it's kind of like a Middle Eastern camel desert caravan theme thing. Really cool. If you go on WillimanticStreetFest.com and you search for the full entertainment schedule, you can actually see a picture of this thing, and it looks like it took many hours to create, probably akin to the set designs that our friends at the Wyndham Theater Guild have to go to make these life-size sets and props and characters. But Oswaldo will be roaming the Street Fest with his Caramel Camel show. So check him out, say hello. Shimmy Mob, Yukon Drumline, CT Fife and Drum, I-98.3 DJ Chuck, Belly Dancers, the Kasia Denton Friends, Hempsteadies, Bente 2, Mighty Soul Drivers, Axe Student Performers, Eminence Inc. Karaoke, Fabulous Clones, Seamus McMullen, and probably more. I mean, there's going to be so much going on. I know that Kasia is going to bring special guests, so I gave advance warning to our sound tech that this is Kasia's MO. She likes to have everybody come on stage and perform. So look for some surprises at the downtown stages, and look for surprises everywhere else. But we are going to take a short break and hear some news and message from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to have the Wyndham Theater Guild. We have 2 guests in house that are going to be talking about the upcoming Dial M for Murder, going to be at the Wyndham Theater Guild coming up very soon. So stick around. We'll be right back. And we're back to State of the Art with Chris Boger here on 95.3 and 14 WILI FM. Good to have you back with us. So I want to read real quickly before we introduce our guests the synopsis or a very brief description of the next show coming up at the Wyndham Theater Guild here in Willimantic on Main Street. So a new version of the celebrated murder mystery that inspired Hitchcock's masterpiece. Tony is convinced that his wife Margot has been cheating on him. Now it seems that the affair is over, but in his jealousy, Tony spins a web of suspicion and deception that will tighten around them and ensnare them both in danger, recrimination, and murder. Ooh, Dial M for Murder is the next show, folks. And we are here with Kathleen Narowski and Chris Bushey. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
The energy is upon us because this Friday is opening night. Yeah,
It is. Yes, indeed.
And this is an interesting show because not only is the content of the show very intriguing and kind of like a perfect little lead into the Halloween season here, Dial M for Murder, but you were telling me before we went live on air that it's a very small cast. Talk about a 5-member cast and what kind of work that entails for the 5 members. Is it like more? Do you have to do more? What is the cast? What's the setup here with 5 members?
Well, I think so. It kind of makes the whole relationship thing concentrated, right? Because you're only focusing on a certain number of relationships going on, and I think that is certainly in a thriller. The relationships between the individuals is one of the most important things that we can have going on, and how we see everyone interact with each other. The fewer number of people, the more things that we can focus on. So I think it really does narrow things down for us.
Kathleen, what do you have to say?
It also obviously means that everybody has to speak more. So you have more lines to learn and stuff. And actually there is one character, the character of Lesgate, who is only in scenes with Tony or Margot and isn't in scenes with the inspector. So there's, in the rehearsal process, we were kind of like divided up, and only like in the past week or so, we've actually all been meeting together at the same time during rehearsals.
Yeah, I think Sunday, since read-through, Sunday was the first time that all of us were in the room together,
Yeah, because I asked about the pronunciation of one of the members, and you guys had to think about it. So you haven't had much interaction with this cast member. I've been to performances, Broadway performances with a limited cast, small cast, and a lot of times, cast members will play 2-3 characters, but this is one cast member per character, so 5 total in the whole story.
It is, and actually, I just learned that because my character never interacts with this other character. There have been versions of this show done where the same person plays both those people because it can be done in that fashion. We're not doing it that way. I think I like it that way because it allows both of us to be completely separate. But it has been done that way before.
Before we carry on with the interview, I want to let folks know how to get tickets and also when the run of shows is happening. So firstly, go to wyndhamtheaterguild.org. And, of course, there's drop-down menus with the shows and events. You can go to upcoming shows, and then you'll see Dial M for Murder right there, first and foremost. And you can go down and get your tickets once the show opens up. Yes, there's no link currently on the website. Can you pre-purchase now? Or
go to tickets.
Oh, so go to the
if you go to tickets,
the tab that says tickets, and there it is.
Scroll down.
Great.
There it is, yep.
And so there's all your options. So there are multiple tier prices. So we're encouraging students and seniors to come at a discount. So $17 student senior discount. Adults are $22, and then university students, UConn, ECSU, and Connecticut Community College students are $15, and then children under 12. Is this a show for children under 12?
I mean, I would leave that up to parents. I probably wouldn't take a 5-year-old to the show.
Yeah,
but,
right.
10 years old, maybe. Yeah.
So is it more a psychological thriller murder mystery? Is it a murder mystery? Or is it...
There's a murder.
There is a murder.
Oh, there's a murder, and you see the murder. So, So as far as that goes, there's a little bit of that in there. But then there's a lot of questions that need to get answered, and this is not a straightforward story. Even though you see the murder and you see the killer, you still don't know what's going to happen.
Really?
And I think that's really the best part of the whole thing. One of our characters is a writer of thrillers. So part of this whole story, as it's shown to you, is that you learn about thrillers. How are they written? How are murder mysteries written? How are things like that done? So, there's a lot of inside stuff. There's tremendous relationship stuff. This is a twist on the original, right? So you had mentioned before that it was an Alfred Hitchcock film. I think I'm a huge fan. I think it was one of his greats. But this script is not the same script that he based his movie upon. This has been rewritten back in 2022. with agreement by the family of Frederick Knott, who originally wrote the play. So it hasn't been modernized. It's set in the same time period, but it has been changed. And I think the changes that it's had really even more ratchet up some of that suspense and some of the excitement, and does make it more relevant to today's audiences without changing the time period.
Yeah, yeah. Even and to just bridge off of that, even though the audience sees everything that happens, nothing happens in secret. The audience is in on everything. But you don't know what characters you can trust and their motivations and why they're doing things that they're doing.
So it may not be like a broken fourth wall, but I mean, like there's communicate. I mean, at least with the storyline and the dialogue and whatnot, there's communication, maybe subliminal communication with the audience that ropes them into the mystery a little bit more.
Right, like how honest are characters being? Like you're hearing them say certain things, but was that really how they're feeling? Is that what they're thinking? Because even though nothing is physically and visibly kept secret from the audience, but you still can't trust
no one.
You know.
Yeah, trust no one.
Yeah.
Can you trust the ushers at the show?
Oh God, they're a shady bunch. No,
I kid. So on the cover image here on the website, it says adapted by Jeffrey Hatcher. Is that someone in house at WTG, or is that somebody
he's a playwright. Yeah,
he's a playwright. Okay,
he's a playwright.
Yeah, and he's the one who adapted it in 2022 and changed it. There was some holes in the story. I mean, there have been some large revisions to the story. Mostly in the who the lover is in the story, that's been completely changed. But there's been a lot of revisions going on, and I think they all work very well. They really do seem to bring the story to move even faster and to draw the audience in even deeper.
So the director, Nicholas Hargrave, he is local, obviously.
He's an hour away.
In Connecticut, local.
Connecticut, yeah.
Not as far as Jeffrey Hatcher. That's my point I'm going for.
Out in Minnesota, I think. But yeah.
Did Nicholas have? Did he make a creative decision between the unadapted version or the adapted version, and what made him choose the adapted version versus?
So the theater had chosen to put on the show, and he had put in to direct, and he was keeping his fingers crossed that it was the updated, adapted version. And so when he got the script, after he got selected as director and got the script, and he was very happy to see that they had chosen the 2022 version of it. So. And
what was the previous version, and what were the differences? You said historical context or something?
Yes, so the character of Max was originally male, and in this story, Max is Maxine. And so it brings this whole new dynamic, especially, not to give like a ton away, but especially given the time period of the 1950s, very conservative. And the struggles that people would have if maybe they didn't have conventional relationship ideas.
Gotcha.
We'll put it that way.
Okay. All right. Again, folks, tickets for Dial M for Murder are available for sale at wyndhamtheaterguild.org, and you can go to the tab at the top of the page for tickets, and you can also see information on the shows and events. Do you have the Wyndham Theater Guild social handles you want to shout out there too that people can follow?
That's a very good question. Yeah, I think it's on Facebook if you just search Wyndham Theater Guild, and theater is spelled the fancy way, so
Theatre,
with R-E and not E-R.
That is correct.
And here it is.
And the same on Instagram and TikTok as well.
And it looks like you've already done dress rehearsal here. The set looks gorgeous. Wow, there's a post that was posted yesterday.
Yes.
The set's beautiful. I have to say the costumes are fascinating. I do believe if you see the show, you will definitely be drawn back to that period of time.
Yeah.
Our director Nick has really focused on the elements of the suspense and the thriller. I think he's really worked to drive up the suspense and the scenes where it's called for. And I think everyone in the audience will see those points that have been driven towards us to look for and see as they occur. And it is great. And I do love the choice of the set color. I think it matches very well with the Dial M for Murder.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, and the lighting and everything. No detail spared here.
Nope.
So yeah, I will be there for one of these for sure. Talk about the show dates and the run of shows. When are they?
So we open this Friday, September 19th, and we run this Friday, Saturday at 7:30 and Sunday at 2 o'clock. And then the following weekend, we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7:30 and another matinee on that next Sunday at 2 o'clock. And the Thursday performance, if you buy your ticket at the door, not ahead of time, at the door, everyone pays kids' price.
Whoa. Okay. All right. So what would that be? Thursday the 25th?
The 25th, yes.
And the kids' price, again, folks, is $13. So that is a steal. That's almost half the price of a regular price ticket. So dial M for Murder at the Wyndham Theater Guild. We have about 2 minutes here, but I wanted to talk about your personal involvement with acting. I mean, if I had to guess, you would probably be up for a Lifetime Achievement Award at this time, at this point, because you've been in how many shows to date, Kathleen? And Chris, I'm sure you've been in quite a few as well yourself. But Kathleen, why don't you take us through your history with the Theater Guild?
So my very first show that I was in the Theater Guild was 2004. The first show that I saw there was back probably in the 90s. And so that was even before they had a building. And since then, I don't even know how many shows I've done, but it's...
Guess. Put a number on it. Rough estimate.
Just at the Guild?
Yeah.
Okay. 15, something like that, or maybe more with like fundraisers and everything, like the Chocolate Gala and stuff like that, performances, Broadway chorus, all that stuff. So yeah, a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. And this is, I mean, it's a time-consuming thing. I mean, memorizing lines alone probably, you probably get better and quicker at it, and you develop personal devices and methods and stuff. But
I think
what does it take to prep for a show?
Memorization, you kind of fit in. It's all the rehearsal time that you spend, the tech weeks, the hell weeks, as we call them, that whole week where we're at the theater every night. I mean, if you add up the amount of hours that you spend at rehearsal, if it wasn't something that you didn't absolutely love, you wouldn't do it at all. Yep. But I think that the joy of the process for many of us actors, just to be there and be in the rehearsal, to work with other people, to learn from them, to learn from our directors, to experience that source material, all of it is a wonder and a joy, and that's why we continue to do it.
And what number show is this for you, Chris?
It's funny because I counted the other day, main stage productions, number 67, and I've, on top of that, directed 23 plays as well. So.
Wow. So we have some consummate thespians in our presence here.
The cast in this play is one of the finest I've ever worked with. Anyone seeing this show will absolutely enjoy the acting in it.
So, folks, make sure you get your tickets now. Again, you can go to wyndhamtheaterguild.org. The show starts this Friday, a 2-week run, Friday, Saturday, Sunday showings, 19th through 21st, and then Thursday through Sunday showings, 25th through 28th. Dial M for Murder is the show, and my guests, Kathleen Narowski, my neighbor from childhood, and then Chris Bushey here, 2 of the 5 cast member for Dial M for Murder. So I highly advise that folks come out to this show. We're definitely going to pitch you guys at the Willimantic Third Thursday Fest this Thursday, and I'll talk about it again on my show next week because there's another week of shows. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Chris.
And we look forward to seeing the play, and maybe I'll be there in a volunteer role again. I volunteered for Back to the 80s. I had a lot of fun with the cast there, and just great work that's going on at the Wyndham Theater Guild. So make sure you support folks. Local plays like this are really a gem. So appreciate you all coming in. And we're going to leave you today, folks, with a song. We have about a minute left. I want to leave you with some of the sounds of Sophie Shao, who will be coming to the River Room this weekend. This is Chris Beaudry. The show is State of the Art. We'll see you next Tuesday, 3 o'clock.